What's up, guys? TJ
and Ian
here at the Freakopolis Geekery with a very special, never-before-seen unboxing. Today, Ian and I are going to be unboxing
Keyforge.
Yes, two unique Keyforge decks, which is a unique deck game from Fantasy Flight Games.
It's like a totally new thing.
It is, yeah. Never heard that word before, but here it is, and it's coming out very soon. But before we get to that, I have a couple of things I want to tell you about Keyforge. Keyforge is a new game coming out this month, November 2018, from Fantasy Flight Games. But the game designer has quite the pedigree.
Yeah.
The game designer is Richard Garfield, who you might know as the designer of Magic the Gathering.
Indeed. It's
quite a large collectible card game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's his next big step, so he says, and we're very excited to see exactly what he's talking about with it.
Yeah, he says this is something he's been hoping to do for 20 plus years now, and he can finally do that, and that is the unique deck game. So what makes this game so cool?
Yeah, what's the deal with a unique deck game?
That I have this deck.
Yep. As do I have a Keyforge deck.
But these are completely unique decks, never before seen. The combination of cards and houses inside of these decks are the only ones that exist anywhere.
Yeah.
And every Keyforge deck will be as such. So it is a combination of three houses that have sort of are living on this planet of the Crucible, reigned over by the Archons, and inside, three of them have joined together with a unique set of cards to create a deck that exists nowhere else.
And so a house is like a suit in poker or a color in Magic the Gathering. Something along those lines, which pretty much defines what types of cards you get in that house.
Exactly, yeah, they all have different flavor. But the important thing to note is that this deck is playable and complete. There is no need to change the deck at all. It comes as such, and it's ready to go just straight out of this box.
Yeah, it's by no means a deck building game. In fact, all the cards are unique to that deck and printed as such. So there's no reason to trade cards. You would only ever trade entire decks. It's a very interesting concept they have going on, and something that wasn't possible a few years ago.
No, very excited to jump into this. Thank you to Fantasy Flight Games for sending our game shop, the Freakopolis Geekery, a couple sample decks. There will be a starter set that comes with all the tokens you need, as well as a few starter decks to play. But this has most of what is the contents of this game.
Yeah.
Inside these two little boxes, there's 37 card decks, your Archon, and then a 36 card deck. And I think we're about ready to pop these things open and see what is in store in Keyforge.
Yeah, let's give it a look. I'm pumped.
Yeah, all right. We didn't determine these in any special order. I just happened to grab this one.
Yep.
Ian grabbed that one.
All right, my Archon is Carla Thorax, the bookkeeper statistician.
Interesting. Like a very booky deck.
Yes.
Cool. Let's see if I can get this thing open. I'll tell you who my guy is. Rolf Southaven War Leader.
Ooh.
Yeah, he sounds pretty badass. Very excited for that.
A war leader versus my bookkeeper.
Well, that kind of plays into your strengths, though, because Keyforge, at its base, is not a fighting game.
No, you don't have HP per se, and neither does your opponent. Your goal is to forge 3 keys, as the name of the game would state. And so here, let's take a little look at Carla Thorax, the bookkeeper statistician. And you can see at the top, that is the art for the Archon there is on the back of every one of these cards in the deck. And at the top you can see the 3 suits that I have. I'm only familiar with one of these, which is Martian. I've seen other unboxings of Keyforge, and they got the Martian one, but I'm really not too certain about what the other 2 houses I have are.
I'm really struggling with this thing.
Want me to give it a go?
Yeah, I need a X-Acto knife. Yeah, so as you can see on Ian's deck, we actually share a couple of the houses. The Martians, and these guys. This one I know as Sanctum. There's a lot of healers in there. So I think this will play very interestingly.
Boom, got it.
So yeah, slight differences.
And so then you have a deck list, which I'll show you.
So as you can see, we actually share 2 guys. Yeah, 2 guys.
Do we? Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I have these shades as well.
Ooh, very interesting.
Find out what they're like.
And then you have your deck list, which is one of the other cards that you get in here that isn't necessarily part of your deck, but it is your list of all the unique cards that ended up in that deck, And that'll make it super easy to enter tournaments and whatnot, because all you have to do, give a look at that card, make sure those are all the cards here, and it's a legal deck.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's a QR code on that deck list, and that allows you to upload your deck list to Fantasy Flight Games' companion app and sort of pit it against other decks and things, and will allow them to keep track of what's really hot in the meta right now. So it's an interesting tie-in there, and to keep an eye on all these very unique decks.
Yes, so I'm seeing the strength of some of these. This blue house, what are they called again?
I believe that's Sanctum.
Sanctum. And they seem to be kind of generic fantasy.
Yeah, it's like a lot of paladins and clerics
Yeah.
and healers and priests and things like that.
Have abilities like Protect the Weak, this card here. Which you can see in the top left there, gives you an Ember. And an Ember, which they spell A-E. So maybe Amber.
I think it's Amber.
Amber, yeah. That card in particular would score me 1 of these objective points, essentially. And if you have 6 of them on the beginning of your turn, you forge a key. If you forge 3 keys, you win. Seeing anything interesting on your side yet?
Well, I have some Martians like you.
Oh, yes.
And I have found a pretty powerful looking creature inside my deck. That is Tunk from the Martians, and it reads, after you play another creature, fully heal Tunk, I believe? Yeah. So definitely a threatening creature to have on the battlefield. Of course, it's not going to attack you directly, as we said. It's more about controlling the battlefield and preventing your opponents from reaping and gaining that amber from their other creatures.
So I, too, got 2 Tunks, which is very interesting.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I think it would play, it seems pretty powerful, really.
As well as an Ixili Marauder, just so that you can get a sense of the scope of art that they have going on throughout this card game. It's really awesome stuff already, I can tell. It's just as good as any other card game in the visual aspects. And the cards feel of good material, too.
Oh, boy.
What are you seeing?
I was mistaken, actually. The house that is unique to mine are the Dis, and I was reading about them earlier.
Ooh, I don't think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're like demons that live underground in this crucible world, and there's a lot of like sacrificing themselves to gain more power.
Interesting.
Or, a lot of very heavy sort of AoE type, like play this gateway to Dis. Play, destroy each creature, gain 3 chains, but it destroys the whole battlefield.
Wow.
Yeah, it wipes the whole place. So definitely a very powerful card. If you're behind on board, definitely worth looking at using that. Let's see. I have one further house. I have to apologize because I don't remember the name of them, but they seem really cool. They're like a lot of engineers or roboticists and time travelers and things.
Yeah.
So let me find.
I too have those, and this card in particular is catching my eye. It's called Crazy Killing Machine. It's a weapon, and its art is a red button that says "Do not touch ever."
Oh my god.
The effect is discard the top card of each player's deck. For each of those cards destroyed, or for each of those cards, destroy a creature or artifact of that card's house, if able. If 2 cards are not destroyed as a result of this, destroy Crazy Killing Machine. But seems just like a fantastic card.
Yeah,
It feels like it would send a shiver down your spine every time you play it.
And for my final card, I'd like to show off. I have a creature from this human side of my deck. He has the elusive keyword. The first time this creature is attacked each turn, no damage is dealt. And the fight/reap, heal 3 damage from a Mars creature or stun a Mars creature.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
It plays in Osmo the Martianologist. Plays well into that third of my deck, or potentially against Martian opponents.
Okay, so my bad. The names of all of your houses are on
the back.
Yeah. So we have in this in my deck I have Logos, which is the
Engineers,
scientists, engineers.
humans.
A bit sci-fi. I have Mars, which is straight up Martian invasions, and Sanctum, which is our paladins and healers.
Right, and I have Mars Logos, who is those scientists, and the Dis, those demonic, sort of ethereal creatures.
Interesting. So all in all, we have more similar houses than not. but I have Sanctum and you have
And
Dis.
Dis, yeah, and they seem very posed.
They do.
Yeah, and Fantasy Flight has a ton of lore already up, very cool short stories, and they're already spoiling a lot of the cards here. Of course, these cards come from the current first set, Call of Archons, but they are completely unique decks. As you can see, I had no idea what was in here. It's very, very different, going to play very different than Ian's.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to get it on the table.
Definitely, we're going to have to play around with this game soon, especially seeing as we have 2 decks ready to go. Think that calls it there?
I think it does. Thanks so much for joining us, guys, on this Keyforge deck unboxing. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and maybe we'll see you around the Freakopolis Geekery sometime soon.
That sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.